Alrighty guys, in this video I want to take a look at all of these swords that Asta uses throughout the story of Black Clover, at least so far. Now I don't think there's gonna be another sword that he's going to end up using, who knows, but I don't think so personally. So I want to dive a little into the swords that he has been using up till now and what they are capable of doing, right? So first of course we have the Demon Slayer sword. Now this sword first belonged to Licht, and this is a sword that Asta uses from the very start of the story. It can be enlarged by extending anti-magic from the edges of the blade. We see him use this move pretty often. It's always very OP and very cool to look at. Now, after his training arc in the Heart Kingdom, he has gained the ability to remotely control the anti-magic within the sword, which allows him to summon the sword back to himself by holding open his hand. So it's like Thor's hammer, essentially, as well, that ability. We also see him later in the story ride on it, like the others use a broom. He flies on the Demon Slayer sword. So it's a pretty cool weapon overall, but I don't think it's Asta's coolest weapon, but it's definitely the OG one, right? Then second off, he gets the Demon Dweller sword, which also belonged to Licht. Now, this sword can release projected slashes of anti-magic, which allows him to cut through spells from a distance. It's basically his ranged option. It can also borrow magic from the people around him, which then in turn allows the slashes to become the property of the magic attribute of the person he absorbed. Now, I don't think we ever see him do this, or maybe once. Basically, it's a shame that he doesn't use this sword to its full potential, but maybe that's still to come in the story, who knows? We do see Licht using the Demon Dweller sword, which was very nice to see. And you just see like what it's actually capable of when it's used to the potential that it has. Um, but yeah, Asta is the only one, of course, who can wield this sword because he possesses no mana. Any other mages would not be able to use magic if they're in contact with this sword because it absorbs the magic properties of someone else. So then thirdly, the Demon Destroyer sword. This sword looks really cool in my opinion, and it also belonged to Licht. Now this sword has a special ability which allows it to generate anti-magic tendrils that can absorb and remove the after effects of spells. Basically, it can negate any magic, essentially, and we see him use this often. Uh, One thing I forgot to mention about the Demon Dweller sword is that we also see him in a more recent chapter use this to give the anti-magic property to the entire Black Bulls squad. Yes, it's insane. The Demon Dweller is super cool, but super strong as well. But now, his fourth sword he got later on in the story is the Demon Slasher Katana, which was basically Yami's katana that he borrowed when fighting Dante. Now, his arm, I guess, right? He was like he offered his arm to Libe, his devil. So because of that, it coats the sword in anti-magic, enabling it to deal heavy damage to Dante and even knock the guy unconscious. It is capable of selective cutting. That's very important about this katana, meaning it can release a slash that can only damage the intended target without causing harm to the things it wants to protect. That is what's very cool about this katana and why it's my favorite weapon of his. I'm looking forward to seeing him use this more. This is gonna be definitely key to fighting Lucius. Now, I wanted to include this sword. He only very briefly wields it and sadly is not able to ever wield it again. But this is the sword created by Lemil, or however you pronounce his name. And obviously he was the first Wizard King. Now this guy created this sword with the original purpose of lending it to the next Wizard Kings, so it would always strengthen with every Wizard King it goes through. Because this sword is capable of absorbing, storing, and releasing magic power. This sword has the potential to destroy an entire country if used to do so. making this definitely the strongest sword that Asta has ever wielded. The sword also contains a piece of the past Wizard King's souls and magic, like I said. So this sword was super cool to see in action. If you haven't seen the movie, I'm not gonna talk more on it, and I would, tell you to go watch the movie. It's definitely worth it. I've watched the movie like 4 times. Uh, yeah. If you guys enjoyed this video and want more content like this, please consider subscribing and leaving a like and comment your favorite sword down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.